Speaking of Florida, because Florida and Oklahoma have a lot in common when it comes to that schedule. I don't know if you've seen
Oh yeah.
our schedule, but Boomer Sooner, Lord help us, we are going to have a tough time this year, just like we did last year.
You want me to just lead off with their schedule?
Go ahead, and tell the people what our schedule looks like because I don't know what they have against us either. Texas's schedule, I think it's harder this year, but last year Texas had a cakewalk of a schedule. They had Kentucky, they had Vanderbilt, they had Mississippi State. Like as
Yeah.
SEC goes, that's a cakewalk. And
Yeah.
why Texas is one of the best teams in college football right now. But Oklahoma, we're struggling and they're like, they just reward us with, here you go, here's a gauntlet of teams that you have to face in our new conference. Like, welcome to SEC. I'm like, what is going on, man? So yeah, go ahead and tell them. Go ahead and tell them.
Week 2, you guys get Michigan, hot off beating Ohio State. Okay, then you got Temple. Okay, well you start with Illinois State, Michigan. Then you get a nice little test, a little Auburn. I guess Michigan will be a good test too, but SEC test. You get Auburn. You guys were at the same level last year. Can you win? You get Kent State after that. Then good old Red River rivalry week, October 11th,
Yes, sir.
Oklahoma, Texas. Then you got Oklahoma, South Carolina. Again, South Carolina technically finished better than Oklahoma last year. So then we get real fun. Then we get real fun.
Here's
Ole
where
Miss.
the real fun comes in.
Yeah, you got Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri. I'm excited. That'll be a good one, a good old-fashioned Big 12 matchup. And then to cap it off, you got LSU. I mean, it's not quite Florida, but God, after saying that after Florida is like, yeah, but that is not an easy schedule. That is consistent, consistent test, tough test after tough test. Go ahead and you tell them about your Sooners.
Tom, I watched a video where they broke down the toughest college football schedules this upcoming season. Florida and Oklahoma were on that list. So that just tells you all you need to know about what those two teams are about to go through this year. The I have a interesting relationship with my Sooners right now, just because I don't know whether to be upset with them or to be optimistic. Because on one side, okay, let me talk about the optimism. So the optimism I have for this season is that we have a defense for the first time in like decades. Like all throughout those years in the Big 12 where we had Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts for a little bit, Caleb Williams for a little bit, Spencer Rattler, all the guys. And when we were making the playoff, we made a playoff a couple times in the 4-team format. And, we were winning Big 12 championships every year. We had no defense. All throughout those years, we had no defense. Like, our defense would rank like 80, 90, 100 in the college football rankings every single year. And somehow we would still make the playoff and win 12 games, 11 games, 10 games because Lincoln Riley and whoever we had on offense was absolutely insane. And it didn't really matter what we did on defense until we ran into good teams. Now we're in the SEC. And like last year, it kind of seemed like it flipped. Like it kind of seemed like now we have a defense all of a sudden. Like we got good defensive recruits. We got 5-star, 4-star defensive recruits on our team. And all of a sudden our defense is really good and our offense is lacking. Like, where did our offense go last year? We had the 5-star Jackson Arnold, who's now at Auburn, and that's going to be an interesting matchup, as you alluded to, seeing that revenge game for him, see what happens there. But we had him just waiting in the works, waiting for Dylan Gabriel, to transfer to Oregon and whatnot. And he was supposed to come out and do his thing, and he fell flat on his face. Like, we had to bench him, like, halfway through the season. So, for a freshman. So, it was really disappointing to see like how our offense just kind of fell off, even though our defense elevated. So my thing going into this year, if we can get our offense back on track, and that's why I'm excited for the addition of John Mateer coming over from Washington State in the transfer portal, and a couple other guys. We got a running back from Cal and a couple receivers, I think, as well. And I think if we get our offense back on track and our defense stays where it's at, we can compete. And then the problem is that schedule. That schedule is just absolutely unforgiving. I don't know what they have against us. I don't know what we did to piss the NCAA or the SEC off. We paid a lot of money to join your conference, so this is how you treat us. But,
uh,
but I just think that we're gonna have a tough time with our schedule. But I do think if we can get our offense on track and our defense stays where it's at, I do think we could go like 8-4. And not saying that's going to make the playoff, but I do think we could have a solid season, and maybe make a push for something more. But we're gonna have a tough time winning those games. I think the ones that stand out to me, especially the latter half of the season where it's just back to back. Carolina, Ole Miss, LSU. Missouri, Tennessee. It's just going to be a tough time sledding down at the end of the season. And then we got a couple tough matchups at the beginning as well. Michigan, Auburn. So if we can win like half of those games and then win the games we're supposed to win, I think we can have a solid season. I don't know if we're going to have enough to push for the playoff. Our schedule is just a little too tough. But that's what I'm hoping for. What I'm worried about is that we have a coach that I don't really believe in. Brent,
oh shit.
Brent Venables coming over from Clemson. I would have loved for him to be our DC. I would have loved for him to be our defensive coordinator because he's got the defense where it needs to be. So he's doing that part of his job correctly. He has nothing to do with the offense. I don't know what he got going on offense, but he cannot do offense. Like Lincoln Riley had the offense on lock. See, they just need to match up Lincoln Riley and Brent Venables because Lincoln Riley had the offense, no defense, and he still does at USC, offense, no defense. Because now Brent Venables is at Oklahoma and he brought his defense from Clemson over to Oklahoma, but now he doesn't have an offense. And so I just think that Lincoln Riley and him should have just got together and say, hey, I'll take care of the offense. You could take care of the defense. And we got a team. And we would be good right now. But Brent Venables, I don't really believe in him as our coach. I was kind of, I don't ever hope for anybody to get fired. But I was kind of hoping that we would that we would get a new coach over the offseason. He's still there. And I think it's really going to be a make or break season for him because if we have another bad year, like last year we went 6-6, barely. What I mean? We had to beat Alabama, what I mean, just to do that. But
Yeah.
it lost to Navy in the bowl game, so don't even get me started. But if we go, I don't know if it'll be okay because we do have a terrible schedule. So I mean, if we go 6-6 again, I'm not saying they're going to be calling for his head, but like if we go 3-9 or 4-8, like he's going to be out of there, and he's going to have to prove to Oklahoma that he belongs here because when we're in the SEC now, and even though I don't necessarily agree with our move, and that's something else I can get into. I can go on a tangent about that, about even coming over to the SEC. But even though we're here now, like we got to compete. Like we can't be the Mississippi State of the SEC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we didn't come over here. We didn't give up winning Big 12 championships every year and basically making the playoff as the Big 12 representative every year just to come over to the SEC and be at the bottom. So we're gonna need to get our stuff together. And I'm hoping we can at least make another bowl game, but it's going to be interesting to see for us. I'm not too sure about our team.
Yeah, you guys made it to the college football playoff when it was harder. It was only 4 teams,
Exactly.
right?
I'm saying
Yeah.
like now
Yeah.
we don't even sniff it. So it's just
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, man. But we didn't do ourselves any favor coming over to the hardest conference you could be in.